Hello everyone, welcome. Let's get straight into this. Crazy stuff happening on Bitcoin. Let me just open the chat, make sure that everything works fine. So we'll cover everything about spot orders and buy places. Just works fine. Okay, perfect. So we're good to go. We are good to go. Let's start as always with Bitcoin. Let me open the chat here. There we go. All right, perfect. And remember, as usual, if you want to look at any assets, just drop it in the chat and we'll take a look. Let me just send one last thing to my Discord, warning that we are live, and let's get it going. All right, perfect. So Bitcoin, as you guys know, we've had this massive dump from 90,000 to now 59,000 yesterday in the matter of 6 days, so 1 week. As you guys know, we've been short, so you should have no excuse to not be making money. We've been talking about these levels for so long. So once again, no excuse to have missed a short trade. You know, again, I'm still holding that short trade from higher, which is almost $10,000 in profit. Yesterday, I actually forgot to send this trade, but because I was out. But I did actually take another short trade yesterday, a very small one, just because I had taken a loss on this account and I wanted to bring it back up. So I made a quick $500 right there, as you can see. Yeah, so yeah, I've been speaking about these targets for a long time. And let's see now where we are at. So as you can see, I've also been buying spot on Bitcoin on this fall. I only bought around 0.7 Bitcoin. I still have orders set. Where can you see that? These are some limit orders that I put on Bitcoin. As you can see, another $20,000 to buy slowly. And yeah, those are actually going to come a little bit lower. And then if we keep on going lower, I do want to buy some more. But I have added already around $30,000 to my positions, just on Bitcoin, that is. And yeah, so the next places for today. First of all, look at where we bounced. Let me delete this. Right here. Of course, the place where we bounced was off of these levels that we had. So initially, we had that initial reaction at, no, actually, we didn't have a reaction at 67. We didn't have a reaction at the value area high. The place where at the moment we are bouncing from is actually right here, which is that value area low of the smaller range, sorry, value area high of the bigger range and value area low of the smaller range, which we actually have not touched yet. Let me just make sure these are correct. Right, so that's actually the value area low. And we're bouncing off of the value area low of the smaller range that I've been speaking about, as you can see. That came right at 59,500. This got front run, which makes me think that we can still have a move lower, and I'll also cover that in a second as of why. But it is good to start buying because, you know, if this was actually the low, then, you know, I don't want to miss out on these positions. If from now we actually reverse back to 86,000, you know, I want to have my positions here. I don't care if I bought at 70, I don't care if I bought at 68, here, here, here. Once, if, for example, we trade back above 86,000, where I think will be my next bigger short, then at least, you know, I have these positions in spot. Yeah, so that's looking pretty good. But now let me tell you why I do think that there's the possibility that we go for the low once again. First of all, we took out 60,000 here, as you can see. We just went low at 59,800. But if we go across the other exchanges, so let's check Binance. Also, let's check the USDT pair on Bybit as well. USDT pair took out 60. Coinbase, sorry, BTT USD Coinbase. As you can see right here on Coinbase, we actually, oh, okay. No, there you go. We just slightly front run 60,000. This is the exact same thing we had the other day, where I told you that it is very unlikely to not take out these psychological numbers, right? That low is exactly at 60,000, $1. So I do think probabilities are that we will make another move down to take this out. The optimal thing would be to do it during, maybe in the next weeks. You know, we don't have to go now like this. This will take some time. We can have that nice pump first, which is actually better for us because that means that we can get into another short trade to then take this lower. And then perhaps we can put that low during, for example, a New York Open regular trading hours. And then perhaps we can have that reversal. I think this would be a very nice outlook, because also don't forget, we still have not taken out that value area low. So, you know, front running the 60,000 psychological on Coinbase, also front running the value area low. I think we eventually will make another low, and then perhaps there can be that low. Also, guess what? This low right here that we had, I'll show you on this chart. This low was put in during the night. This is not what we typically want to see. You should know this by now. We don't want to see these lows. As much as this is a really good low with nice excess, the best thing would have been to have it during regular trading hours, not overnight. Again, this is like not a must. This can be the low, but because of the other thing I just showed, front running 60,000, I do think probabilities are that we'll go down again and take this out. So keep that in mind. And then at that point, it will look even better if we can do that during a New York session. And as you guys know, it's gonna look with that purple profile. That would be the optimal thing to have, right? Something like that. Doing a very simple SFP. You know, people are gonna get bullish here. People are gonna start longing. We can have that reversal, which we can see where we can look for that short trade to take this back down. And then if we don't, it doesn't matter. At least and I've been telling you too as well, I have my positions here that I've bought. I'll show you again. All of these have been from 68,000. Sorry, my first one was at 71,000. It was very small, but most of them have been down here. And then I got front run on that 59,000. And if we reverse, doesn't matter. We already bought the positions we needed. I did also buy some Solana. I bought some Ethereum, which we'll look at in a second. But yeah, the optimal thing would be to have that nice pump first, go into some resistance, and take another short down to the lows. That would be my preferred scenario. If I'm wrong, again, doesn't matter. We can still make money off of the positions that we've loaded up. So let's see now where we could look for that potential short trade. As you can see now, we're running back into that support level which we had initially, anchor VWAP, daily level, old point of control of that range. Let's see if we are just simply back testing it or if we can reclaim it. If we can reclaim it, I do think we have the chance to go higher. And yeah, so this is a very important zone where it could actually be that zone for a short trade as well. I just wouldn't take it yet. I would wait for market open. I would wait to see what's up. And honestly, I do have a feeling that we can go a little bit higher before having to take that short trade. So here's what I would be looking at. First of all, my most interesting level, as you guys know, is going to come around 86,000 for that short trade. But that is still very far away. So if we do get here somehow, which again, I think it's quite unlikely at this moment, but if we do get there, I'll be interested in selling the spot that I bought here, part of it, to then take this down again, as I've mentioned. We do have the anchor VWAP from 126, which is the all-time high, which by the time that we get here, let's say this takes, 2-3 weeks, which would be how much? Would be at 30%, totally possible. By then, perhaps this anchor VWAP has moved down. We can also see some new levels. I do also got to check order flow to see if we have any new negative point of controls. And daily level just above. Let's see weekly. No weeklies, weekly above. Monthly, no monthly. So either way, that's going to come around 86,000 because we've seen this before. We've seen the value area low being retested and failing and being a nice reversal point. So we definitely want to keep this in mind if we ever get there. Once again, we are still trading at 67,000. There's a lot of work to do before we get there, but that would be definitely one of my preferred areas. And if I have to give you like another target way in advance, if we do get there, it's going to be that 96 once again. Actually, wait, this changed. This used to be different. I think it's because of this. Let me not include this one. So from there, 70,000, let's close this right here. And these levels should change a little bit right there. There we go. So yeah, it's still going to come around 96. Which I don't really like, to be honest. Sorry, this is what I was looking at. That's my next level. There we go. That's better. So I'm going to remove this. 91,000. That's the level I wanted to find. There we go. That would line up very well with these highs as well that we have right here, right? To touch that point of control, we do also have a daily naked point of control somewhere around here, I remember. And now I will check for more levels, but that is on a higher time frame if we get there. Once again, too early to think about this, but you know, these are two interesting levels. Something more local, we're gonna have to take some anchor VWAPs. But as you can see, even if we take the anchor VWAPs from here, we still have some levels to start reclaiming. But I already do have some levels in mind, which if you just give me a second, I will check. But let me open my order flow and see where we have these new naked point of controls. You guys won't be able to see this, but I will just report it back to you. So on the weekly, we have a weekly level which comes at 88,000, which is way too far for us. We want to look at something more local, and I can see right here we have one at previous day point of control right here, 69,950. So let's add that there. 69,950. Already I can tell that this is going to be a good level. Then we have another one at 73,450. Let's add that on our charts. And by the way, guys, you should definitely be copying these from me and putting them on your charts as well. These are very important levels to keep. So we have these two daily naked point of controls. Let's see the weekly profiles. Weekly profile, as I said, nothing interesting. This one I wouldn't consider yet. There's one at 69,870, but it's not confirmed because the profile hasn't closed yet. And then for the monthly, once again, nothing to look at. It's way higher at 90,000. But actually that is good for that level. So I will actually mark this out to add to my confluence at 91,000. Actually not lining up perfectly. So for now it's fine. And then I do see that we have this old value area high, right? Which is right here, which we got acceptance into, right? Can we see that? Value area high from that old range, getting acceptance into there. We can now look for that back test right here onto that naked point of control to possibly look on a good reaction on something like that. And honestly, I would wait for a move above, a loss, a back test of the anchor VWAP, and then we could have that short trade here. That would also take out the psychological 70,000. You know, people will probably start getting bullish here, lots of longs, and that's when we can take it back down to still give, will depend on where we put the high, but can give a really nice short. So that would be the first option, I would say. And again, it all depends on the reactions that we get. I also think we would have this anchor VWAP lining up. Yeah, very nicely. So that's very nice to look at. Let's put it like this. What else would we have? Let's see, that profile. 73,000. This is not looking okay. Let's see a bigger volume range. No. So that would be my first preferred level. Then this level right here at 74,000, always on that naked point of control. Let's also see if we got some horizontal new levels. We have a daily at 78,000, which is lining up pretty well with that point of control, as you can see right there. That would be nice. A another SFP, but I just feel like at that point, it's more likely we go towards 86. So these are the more local trades. To be honest, this 69,000 taking out the 70,000 is probably my preferred option. I'm gonna see if I have anything else here off of this. Let's do it like that. To be honest, not much lining up on that 73,000. We can check some other anchor view ups. Maybe this one. Yeah, maybe, you know, the negative point of control on that anchor view up coming up. But to be honest, not my favorite. Let's also check the whole profile range of this downtrend. 76,000. Yeah, no, honestly, not too interested in that. And yeah, probably this is such a fast fall that I would not be so interested in taking a short here. I would just wait for higher at that point, probably that 78,000. So these are the main levels we're looking at, right? We're looking at 69, 78, 86, 91 for a potential short trade, because our bias is still that we have to go. I mean, we don't have to. We can also look for, you know, a back test perhaps here. We did have that first change in market structure. If we start getting the change in market structure on the 4 hours, will also look nice. Taking an aggressive approach would be, you know, we can probably reject here, I would guess. We can try to look for that and reverse, but you know, it's not going to be my favorite thing. It's a very aggressive approach, and I would not go with leverage longs, to be honest. But yeah, that's my favorite one. And then again, another more local one, for example, can be maintaining these and looking for that simple backtest here. Like for example, already here, if you want to be very aggressive, you know, you could be looking for that short trade. But we have that daily just above, which we could go and retest. You know, maybe the best thing would be to wait for this range to form today, you know, in the next hours. Sorry, not in the next hour, in the next minutes, and then see that high being put in during New York, taking it out, backtesting the daily, and then having that fall down. So I would not take it down for how I personally trade. I would always wait for that high to be put in during market open. So let's check once again, actually, this chart right here, which is not working. There we go. Let's see if we can find some confluence here as well. So yeah, I mean, this is the same kind of setup that we were looking at the other day, which ended up in a losing trade, but you do have this point of control here. You have the value area low. So if you're looking for that aggressive approach, all this area can be that retest to possibly take it higher. But to be honest, I would not be really looking for that. And whereas to the downside, we do have the single prints at 69,340. So right there, that's lining up pretty well with the level that I gave you. We have that open right there. We have the point of control, which has already been tapped. And yeah, and honestly, these highs are looking good. So I wouldn't mind a retest right here to then take that lower, as I've been talking about, right? And that's still not too far away, totally possible to get another 5% push. Vic, sorry guys, one sec. Vic. Yeah, the thing is ready. Ah, okay, you already, okay, cool. Sorry guys, just talking to my chef, who happens to be my girlfriend. Okay, so that's it for Bitcoin. And Ethereum came into that very nice monthly level that I have been giving. 4 hours looks really nice, but same thing, this happened overnight. But that's a very, very nice level where I added spot. I sent this in the Discord. I've been talking about this in the lives for quite a bit. However, my preferred scenario would be for another low where I will add more back down to this point of control. I would love to see this 1,600. And I do think we could perhaps put in that low right there, right? And that would also make sense with Bitcoin moving, having one more leg down before that reversal. But I do really like this pivot either way. And I've been speaking about this. You know, if you were up at 3 a.m. or whatever that happened. When was this? Oh, actually, it was at midnight. Well, I was asleep. I woke up at 3 actually. If you see in the Discord, I sent an alert at 3 that this level was hit. I think we were around here. I added at around 1.87, something like that. But yeah, this low would have honestly looked good if this happened during, literally in 4 minutes. But yeah, we'll have to see about that. I think it's still a great area to add. I've been speaking about these levels for a while, and I will add more if, and I think we will, probably drop towards 1.6 to 1.4. All of this area is going to be to buy. If we lose that, that's when we can start thinking, okay, we're kind of fucked. But yeah, an SFP right here would be nice. 1.3 gets a lot of people freaked out. And yeah, and that would still look all right. I mean, even if we put the low right here, I don't use trend lines, but you can see that we're still maintaining that technically over time bullish outlook, right? Still higher lows. We can even put the higher low here and still proceed for higher. Not that I really look at this, but I mean, if you look at the overall higher time frame, it might look messed up here, but the same thing was here, right? Compared to here, we maintained the higher low, and then we had that massive pump. And then similar to how we had it here, right there, it's happening again. We maintain that higher low, massive pump, and possibly here, if we can maintain that higher low and then massive pump would be nice. Yeah, so that's what I'm looking at Ethereum. There's not much more to look at. In terms of short trades, unfortunately, the short trade that I was interested in, around 3.7, never came into fruition, which is a shame because this would have printed so hard. I also did have another short trade ready here at 3.4, which got front run by so little. So quite annoying. I'm going to have to do a deeper analysis. I just don't have the time right now to look for another short trade on Ethereum, but it's going to probably come around 2.8. So that's very far away, at least for how I trade. This I'm going to have to analyze another time. Solana also came into a very important level, which I had given at 71. I have bought this. I'm starting to buy spot here. And as I've said, the only things that I'm buying in this dump are Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. All this other shit that you see right here, I'm not buying any of these. Zero. I don't want to get stuck in that stuff. Also, Neo, I sent this in the Discord, making really nice money. I did sell 25% of my position yesterday. I was up 3,500. Today we're once again up, and yeah. I said I wanted to see a move above 5, which I think we'll get today. I mean, we already got it in pre-market, but optimally the nice zone is going to be around 5.2. And that is it for that. Let's see the chat now, and I'll wait 5 minutes of market open, and then I'm going to have to go. So the spot limit orders I already covered. We go long for now. No. This is not how it works. Guys, one thing I want to make you understand is that we don't, just because I expect higher, doesn't mean that I'm randomly longing. Like if you go on my chart, I've been buying spot, but if I were to do leverage, I would never just buy here. Okay, right now we're at resistance. Even if we're looking for a short, right, at possibly 69,000, 86,000, 91,000, whatever price it is, the place to buy was down here or on this fall, right? I mean, technically, if you're going spot, yeah, I wouldn't have an issue buying at 67,000, but I already bought it. But if I were to take a long position now, I mean, your invalidation is so bad, there's no point doing that. And the chances that we trade all the way up to 86,000, it's possible, but you don't have that nice setup. Now, where would I take a leverage long if I get it? I would take it if we drop back down to 59,000 and we do have that like SFP or failed auction. Then yeah, then it makes way more sense. But to take a trade now long, I mean, yeah, it could work out, but keep in mind your invalidation, unless you can find something like a nice setup. Let's say you want to put your stop loss right here, but the chances are you'll get stopped out. I would never take such a trade because once again, like imagine that this is your trade, right? You're going to have to put the stop loss logically below this low. And the first resistance comes here and that's a 1 to 0.38. So this is definitely not worth it. Obviously, if you have a very bullish outlook and you're trying to get this all the way up to 86,000 without taking any profits, already is not great, but it's looking better. And unless you have a perspective of trading up to, 90,000 to 100,000, I would say that's the only time it would make sense. Otherwise, it's just buying spot here and waiting for the next months for this to reverse, knowing that it is possible that we can trade back down to 50,000, And as I've talked about, it's also possible we go back down to 30,000, but in that case, I will already be out of my spot positions. Yeah. For the 1-to-1, you can text me on the Discord. But yeah, as you can see, look at that. Market open, and there was no point shorting there. Now, if we get a nice reaction, we can look for a short trade here off of a very simple SFP of this mini range, right? Which we still have not taken. But if we get that back test of the daily and we get a nice reaction and order flow is looking good, we can take that short. But again, to be honest, I'm interested more in 69,000. I think too many people are going to be looking at this level. Let me see. We do have single prints here. Yeah, honestly, 69,000 looks very nice. 69 to 70,600 for a possible short. Now here we're seeing shorts opening. To be honest, again, I'm not interested in taking this aggressively. I don't need to be in short trades right now. I already have short trades. But yeah, I mean, if I get it for a day trading setup, I will take it. But as you can see, there was no point shorting down there. It's always better to wait for market open and wait for the high to be put in during market open. But yeah, again, if anyone was interested in the mentorship, in the Discord, there's an area where you can open a ticket. You can talk to me privately. And yeah, prices are the same for everyone. It's just I don't like to publicly, sponsor my mentorship. It makes me look like a guru. I don't like doing that. I feel like the volume profiles are plays random and he keeps the one he likes. I don't see anything in it, but that's probably me. I mean, once again, if you think they're random, you can think they're random, but these profiles work. You can see the respect. They're absolutely not random. Simply, you don't understand them because they are taught in my mentorship. And yeah, so if you want to take it to the next level, I have a mentorship, and I can guarantee you that you'll understand it there. I mean, you can clearly see right here the respect on all these levels, right there, here, resistance, right here. These levels work. You can see right there also the respect, point of control, etc. So they're not random. Anyways, here's that push above 68. And yeah, we'll see. If I do get into this trade, I will say it in the group, in the Discord. But again, optimally, I want to see 69,000. So unless we really get a bearish reaction in the next hour and we trade back below here, I'll put an alert. Then I might take that little scalp. If you want to be aggressive and trade the back test of this daily, go for it. But again, to be honest, order flow is not looking great for that. I think we can keep squeezing. So yeah, that's my opinion. Again, you're free to do whatever you want. By the way, one last thing I do want to cover is this Pippin trade, because I've been waiting for this daily level right here. I was looking at this actually last night right here at around 16 cents, and I was thinking of taking the trade. And honestly, looking back, I should have. There was such a small invalidation, and that would have already given me like a 1 to 3. But just what wasn't convincing me was this. But now, since if we get that 30-minute change of market structure and we can get that retest, I will be interested in taking this trade with invalidation. And then, if it gets stopped out, I'll be interested in retaking it at 14 cents and 13 cents. But if we get such a setup after the market structure shift, I'll be interested in that. Something like that, right? That can give a nice entry. So I hope that's pretty clear. As you guys know, I have not longed any of this downfall. I've only been short on Pippin. You can see that here. You can see that right here. I've only been short. I've made $1,000 on this one on the challenge account, or just below $1,000. And yeah, and I have not bought any of that. I've only taken profit on my short. You can see the orders here. Just these are all take profits, and I still have not bought any of this. And again, if I get the right reaction and the right sign of strength, which the first sign of strength, it's not really a sign of strength, but the first nice reaction was this reaction off of the daily with an SFP of the lows right here. Then I'll be interested in taking that trade. But yeah, I hope everything is clear. Where are your next? Bro, could you explain last time how to put support and resistance based on candles for stocks and crypto? That is all. Oh, look at that pump on NEO. Now NEO is up to 518, and it looks like we're going for that target. Let me see if I can show you my position here, because it should be making about $5,000 to $6,000. So let's see. Okay, well, I was wrong. I'm only making 3.6. Correct, because I took profit yesterday. So as you can see right here, I don't know if you can, but this position is now printing 3.6K. And then once again, that was given in the Discord. It is up 15% in spot. So that's a pretty nice trade, I would say. What is that? A 1-2? 1-4. If we get to my target, it's going to be a 1-5, and I will let this run. I will wait for the reaction here. I am going to take a small 10% here because I do think the market is not in the best shape. So I will take 10%. You can follow along with me if you wish. That is 500 shares. Sell 1-4. Sell. There you have it. I just took profit on my NEO, and this trade is now up in total. Yesterday I was up 2.7. I took 25%. I'm up like 4,000 on this trade. And yeah, once again, all shared in the Discord. No excuse to miss it. And look at Bitcoin still pumping towards my target of 69,000 or 70,000. Now, of course, we do gotta be careful of that backtest here. But I do really think this is too obvious of a trade, and there's not much of a reason to reverse there. So yeah, let me check the chat once again. And I will leave you because I gotta go have lunch. Let's see. Guys, sorry today I can't take requests to look at. Okay, so yeah, that's what I'm going to be waiting for. And again, I'll update you in the Discord if we get there. NEO, I personally traded it on my bank. You can trade it on, there's many apps. There's eToro, there's Trading 212, there's other shit. So yeah, I don't know where honestly the community trades it, but if you have a bank, any bank that you have with stock trading allowed, you would find it. So yeah, guys, that's it for today. Sorry if this one was shorter than usual. I'll be monitoring, of course, on my own. And if we get the setup, I'll tell you. Order flow, just to let you know, is still a short squeeze. So on a short squeeze, you typically don't want to be looking for that short trade yet. Anyways, awesome. I will see you in the next one. Thank you, Nicola. And I will be back tomorrow. No, Monday.